Hi, I'm Sadrai Jazhan.
Talal Razwan.
Zara Khurram.
Mujtaba Zaidi.
I went on the Global UGRAD Exchange program in spring 2013.
Spring 2013.
In spring 2012.
In spring 2011. In spring 2011.
Reverse cultural shock is a state of going back into your country again after having spent some considerable time into the country that you've been living in. So yes, it's a state of readjustment, emotionally, psychologically, of how you adapt to the things that you've been so accustomed to again, in a different, carrying a different attitude. People experience cultural shock because of the change they experience. To any environment you'll go, you'll experience something which would be different from what you've been experiencing before. And some people, they are very reluctant to accept the changes. When they find it hard to accept the changes, they feel that they won't be able to be in a state to compromise, and that results in a cultural shock. By the way, shock doesn't come across as a shock in the real sense shock. It means something which is different from your ideology, from your attitudes, from your perceptions, and which you find really hard to accept.
So it's like a complete different lifestyle, right? You know, you have these certain liberties that you don't have in this country anymore, you know.
The load shedding in Pakistan, I was used to it before I went to the US, but when I came back, I was not used to 4 hours of continuous load shedding, and then especially in the summer season, and that was the worst experience I had. After that, the traffic that used to whenever I used to go somewhere with my father and I used to see a lot of traffic, I used to get really panicked and scared because I was like, people are just passing by and there's no rules, nobody's following any rules, there are rickshaws and the motorcycles and everything, like they are coming from everywhere. So that was a kind of shock for me. And then another thing was that the way how people treat women in Pakistan is very different from how people treat you in America. When I was in America, I used to travel alone, I used to hang out with people and nobody used to think wrongly about it. But in Pakistan, they think women need to be pampered and they shouldn't travel alone because they can't take care of themselves and these kind of things.
So the first thing that I noticed when I came back was my lack of mobility. I couldn't go out when I wanted to. I always needed a car, I couldn't walk out. I needed a parent or a driver or someone else to go with me. The other thing was the power outages. It was horrible. No internet, no electricity, scorching heat. Unbearable.
When I went to the exchange program, I found my identity. I discovered myself independently, that who the Sadrai Jazhan is. But when I came back, I was compelled to forget everything and I had to readjust with the same norms and stereotypes and the typical mindset of the people around me. And then that came out to be the reverse cultural shock for me.
Personal boundaries. People do not respect the 1 foot square around you at all. They push and shove. And other than that, people have business in whatever you're doing. I mean, they always have something to say in what you do and what you don't do.
I didn't have any reverse cultural shock, but if there was any, then it was the scorching heat of Lahore because I came back in May.
Really मुझे feel नहीं हुआ personally क्योंकि the reason may be कि so I've been here at LAMS for past 4 years, and every time I move back to my hometown to visit my family, it's sort of the same transition, going from one cultural lifestyle towards another.
Many people would not even know that they are experiencing reverse cultural shock. So at first place, they need to know that there's something which is called reverse cultural shock that they are experiencing.
Most people don't really talk about it because the way how people comment on you when you talk about the culture shock, that in US there was no load shedding and these kind of things, and people start saying that okay, तुम तो बिल्कुल American ही हो गए हो and तुम तो गोरे ही हो गए हो. These kind of comments people pass, and then you are like, okay fine, then I shouldn't talk about culture shock because people start thinking that you are trying to flaunt the fact that you have been abroad and you have traveled and these kind of things.
There is no rule for the exchange program in my college, and due to which I faced a lot of unsupportive behavior of my administration. My classmates were not ready to accept my success, and people pulled me back actually. And I faced a lot of insecurity even from my teachers, and people perceived me different, and that's why they were giving me a title of Miss America, and they said, "No, you speak English very differently with a different accent," and something like that.
I have lived in Pakistan for my whole life, and living in another country for just 5 months cannot give you a reverse cultural shock to that extent that you feel uncomfortable in your own country. I think it depends on what other person values. I've known people who were quite happy when they came back to Pakistan because they were able to eat their own cultural food, they were able to meet their friends, they were able to talk to people in their own language. I mean, these were the things that they valued. So they did not experience reverse cultural shocks as such. But there were certainly some people like me who valued something else, which was the academic experience, the ability for people to listen and understand your point of view. So I mean, I valued those things, and that is the reason why that when I came back to Pakistan, when I couldn't find those things here in my community, it hurt me very badly. So again, it depends on what you value and what you are looking at. That defines the intensity of your reverse cultural shock.
The magnitude of reverse cultural shock is totally dependent on the time you spend abroad or whether you've enjoyed the time over there or not. So it's totally experience based. If you have had a good experience, it's going to take longer for you to recover from the cultural shock that you're facing after coming from abroad. But we have to keep in mind, if you have had no friends over there at the time, our experience had been extremely boring, or if you had not a busy life over there, you would actually not have a reverse cultural shock. So the severity and magnitude of your reverse cultural shock is totally dependent on your experience. Researchers suggest that 99% of the people have the fear of uncertainty, and that's the fear which makes them live in their comfort zone. It's the fear which makes them hinder their personal growth by not stepping out of the comfort zone. When we're talking about people coming back from abroad and coming to their home country, it's seen they fear uncertainty, they fear what's going to happen next, how are we going to survive in the culture that we've been living throughout our life, how would people react to us, how would people react to our attitudes and habits that we formed over there, and how are we going to react to the things that have been conventional. So that's the point where we need to step out of our comfort zone, where we need to be fearless, where we need to think that yes, we have to be risky, we have to be adventurous, we have to try out new things the way we tried them abroad.
Initially, I used to react, and I got depressed when my friends used to do such type of things with me. But my father, my family, my best friends, they really supported me a lot. And then I convinced myself that if I have achieved a lot, then I have to bear this. And after all this, I guess, experience, I was even much more stronger and brave girl than I was before. And I guess every bad experience teaches you a lot, like every good experience.
As far as the issue of independence was concerned, I sort of adopted the independent lifestyle I had in the US because I was here in the university away from home. But I was still a bit different, and I had to talk to my parents about it, the way I felt about it, the way I felt about having an independent life, and sort of compromised, find a midpoint between complete independence and between association with family and that sense.
Or the traffic problem, like I still panic sometimes, but still like I'm trying to get used to it, and I'm trying to drive in this kind of traffic, but let's see how it goes. Apart from that, another thing about females, that the way people treat us differently in Pakistan, I fought a little bit with my parents to give me a bit more independence and to give me a bit more freedom to go out and explore and do things on my own. And they did give me a bit more freedom, but not that much, so I'm working on it.
I actually learned how to ignore such type of situations and people. And I know people over here, they don't mind their own business. And I actually stopped them to intrude into my personal space. And now I think I am more confident about such type of difficult situations. I know how to control and react and now face such type of people if I'm going to have such type of situation in the future.
I now feel that I'm a bit more independent now compared to how I was before. So like I do my own thing now, which I didn't used to do back then, before I went to the US, that is. And now I travel more than I used to. And apart from that, I think the way I view life is very different.
I do not think I have overcome those reverse cultural shocks. As I've said earlier, that I am still suffering with that feeling, with that, I still believe that I have been deprived of something which was really valuable. The remedy that I've come up with is that I will apply for scholarships this year, and if I don't get the scholarship, I will obviously start my degree here in Pakistan and accept that this is my fate.
And I guess my feeling can be expressed in one शेर which I want to share. It's of Bulle Shah. मुश्किल पई ते अखां खुलियां, मुश्किल पई ते अखां खुलियां, एवें पुलसी के यार बड़े ने बुलिया.
I've been able to identify loopholes within my social setting. So it has exposed me to a lot of other things, and it has allowed me to understand and identify the problems within my community. And I'm in a better position to take the positive things from the alien culture and bring it back to my culture so that my society could progress and it could improve.